This episode is hosted by Kenneth Bonner, Reggie Smith, and Jacqueline Wells. Welcome to the When We Talk podcast. This is Kenneth Bonner,
Reggie Smith,
and Jackie Wells.
The late great Prince had a song called Let's Go Crazy, and in the opening parts of the song, he stated, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. An electric word, life, it means forever, and that's a mighty long time. But that's not necessarily true. Many have lost the meaning of life and have based their life off of things and monetary things that they think will eventually sustain their life. Life is precious and oftentimes taken for granted. And just because we have breath flowing through our lungs every day and going through our bodies, it doesn't mean that tomorrow is promised." So we're going to tackle that and the meaning of life and the journey of life on today. And we're going to pass it on to Jackie. So Jackie, what does life mean to you? What is life's meaning to you? What does it encompass?
Wow, that is a powerful question, I think, and it all depends on the person and their perspective on life in general. And for me, I look at life as my purpose of waking up in the morning, whether that be my family, my career, whatever it is I'm trying to pursue. For me, I enjoy that the fact that God woke me up in the morning. He gave me the breath of life, so I don't take that for granted. And I think, when you're talking about, different people, different scenarios, some people don't understand, like you said, the value or the purpose behind life itself. And it could be, based on situations, based on circumstances that they may have been through that impact, their decision to even want to get out of the bed. So for me, I think life is precious. I think that we have to really look at it from a perspective of, okay, Lord, you have blessed me to wake up this morning. Let me first give thanks to you, initially for allowing me to be able to do that. And secondly, what am I going to do with this time that you have allotted me? So when I wake up in the morning, that's one of the first things I do is to give thanks. And then I go on with my day. I have a wonderful career. I've been blessed with a wonderful career. I have a beautiful family. And so, each day that I wake up, my purpose is to be impactful in the environment around me. Whose life can I change, based on conversation or based on experiences and, some of the different things that I've been through in my life. How can I make a change or a difference in someone? So I base my life experiences off of, the things that I've been through and how I can be impactful to somebody else to make a difference.
Jackie just had to go all deep on us. So, all right. So for me personally, what is life? I remember I was at a place in life to where I was surrounded by a bunch of people that thought money and things were everything. And I was a car salesman at this point. And the way that my manager motivated me to be successful was man, you make a lot of money. You make a lot of money. If you got bills to pay, then make more so your bills don't affect you. And so I was at a place to where I thought that having money was valuable and having things. And I almost got caught up in that. And what changed is that I really, really started focusing on my life with God. And then I just started looking around at all the people who I've lost in my life, as well as, just close family, friends. And I just started looking at everything and it just, for some odd reason, didn't click with me that my primary focus had to be about money. Yes, I'm blessed now, later on in life, and I'm blessed with nice things and drive a nice car, but that's not my primary focus. I remember reading the scripture. I think it's in James, somewhere around James 4:14 or something. It says life is but a vapor, is here today, then gone tomorrow. And when I started thinking about that, my whole focus changed on, okay, is it all about just having things? Is it all about having fun? Is it all about the things that people place priority, whether it's sex, money, partying, drinking, having fun? What is the meaning? And I realized that, nobody's promised tomorrow. There are people who live on the street. There's people who don't have parents. There's people who don't have a job. There's people who are sick, terminally ill, people in wheelchairs. And when you start thinking about all these things, makes you realize how blessed you are. But what is life? What is the purpose of life? I really feel like my life is now at a place to where I live to impact people, whether it be my family, whether it be the people who God allows to come into my life that I may have influence over. My goal is to inspire them and impact them, because I realize that life is not about me, because at the end of this life, when I'm gone, the material things that people focus on so much, you can't take those with us. And so I feel like my whole focus and purpose is definitely on making sure my wife and my children, my grandchild, my family and friends are at a place to where they're secure in their salvation with God, of course, as well as life, to where they have their priorities in order and they're not chasing things. They're trying to figure out ways how to leave a legacy and be impactful. And that's kind of my short definition.
I think for me, as Jackie stated, that every day that I wake up, it's a blessing. And because we all came from the same place, which is a small town, Gary, Indiana, right outside Chicago, where we witnessed a lot of people our age in the early ages who didn't make it that far. So that in itself allowed me to put things into perspective, because every year that I have another birthday, every day that I wake up, I remember not just one or two people, but a gang of people who didn't live to see that number. And so it allows me to put life into a different perspective. It allows me to kind of go back into the past, but then fast forward to where I am now and realize that I've been truly and greatly blessed just to be here at this present moment. As I've gotten older, the meaning of life has changed for me. Where I've gone from living life by the seat of my pants, still kind of march to the beat of my own drum, but I live life by the seat of my pants, and I wasn't thinking about tomorrow. All I was focused on was the moment and today. And where, like Kenneth stated, I was in that pursuit of money. I was in that pursuit of happiness that tied everything to money, but not realizing during that time, even though there was death all around me, that my life can instantly change like that. And it also that my life can also impact the lives of others. And as I've gotten older, things have changed. I look more at family. I look more at the little things. But I also think that I cringe because I look at today's generation and, the generation that came before us probably cringe because they looked at us, but they really live life by the seat of their pants. They don't look at tomorrow. And I watch their verbiage, I watch their actions, and I'm like, wow, because the times have changed. The times have gotten different. They've gotten more dangerous, and they don't look at tomorrow, but they concentrate on today. But I think that life is a journey. And I think the biggest thing is that people don't realize that your life, the moment that you come out of the womb, well, not even that, the moment that you're conceived, your journey begins. And I really don't think that people understand the journey. So Jackie, can you understand, can you kind of put that into perspective as far as the journey is concerned, as far as life?
I think everybody's journey is different, based on, how they were raised, or based off of, different things that they may have seen. And sometimes it takes others longer to get there, than it would for somebody else, so I think the journey is based on what you make of it and how you deal with the different things in your life, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, and when you're talking about the millennials, I mean, I agree with you too. I think that they live life free, not fully understanding what true purpose is, because they are so caught up with the things that's around them, and right now we're living in an age, we've talked about this in the past, of how social media really draft the mindset of the youth today, because that's all they care about. And so when you have that from a perspective, when we're talking about our youth and our younger generation, they don't realize that, they have gifts planted on the inside of them so that they can be impactful in the world, because they're so worried about what everybody else have to say. And I'll even take it a step further, not just with our younger generation. We have people even in our generation that is so caught up with what, with the opinions of other people, that it caused them to be stagnated in their life and to move forward, because they're in comparison with what this other person might have, or they could be, stagnated based off of them failing and not having the unction to go forward and move. Because for me, I've had a lot of failures in my life, and I look at those failures to say, okay, is this a learning moment for me? What is it that I can pull from this? I can tell you, even in my career, I talked over this with Ken a few times. We've been on the phone in the mornings praying, and he's been praying for me because I've been broken at my job and wondering why I wasn't chosen or selected for this or that. But from that, I had to really honestly look at it and say, okay, Lord, if this is not what you have for me, give me the patience to wait for the right door to open. So again, I just think the journey, it can be dependent upon the different, situations that you've been in your life, and how you take those situations to move yourself forward can impact the journey of life that you're taking. So, it could be good, it could be bad, but I think, what people need to understand is take the tools that you've been given, look at those tools and see how you can utilize those things to continue to push forward. Because it's, life is not a race, in my opinion. We oftentimes we get so caught up, like what you guys said, with the money and the fame and the nice houses and the clothes and the cars, and we forget the simple things in life, and we forget the precious moments in life, and we forget that some of the little things that we have can make all of the difference.
That's good. I have to agree with you that everybody's journey is different. Um, People grow up in different environments, different cultures, different surroundings. And a lot of what they grow up in also dictates the outcome in some instances, not all, because at the end of the day, we all have choices. As far as what people value in life, I personally feel like people don't see the value in things unless they have to work hard for it, or unless they don't have access to it. So if you no longer have access to something, whether it's a person, a relationship, a thing, or whatever the case, then you start to see the value in that thing, because you no longer can treat it the way you want to. It's like what they say, you never miss what you got till it's gone. And when you think about those things, it's like, okay, what do I have around me? As you all were talking about the family, it's a blessing to have a relationship, whether you're married or not married, whether you have kids, grandkids. It's a blessing to have relationships, because there's a lot of people that die alone, and it's not a good feeling. But just to have the relationships, just to have a roof over your head. And I'm like Reggie, when I was a knucklehead growing up and living life however I was living, and I got older, I started to see the value in everything. I mean, it's like it was a story I heard a long time ago about, how people were just throwing pennies, and somebody just, every time they saw a penny, they picked it up and kept it, and picked up and kept it. And eventually they ended up with a lot of money because they saw the value in the penny, because they knew that regardless, like as Jackie said, timing, there's no rush to get there. Regardless of how many pennies I have to collect to get to wherever I'm trying to get to, it may take time, but I'll get there. But they saw the values in the penny, whereas we may see a penny and be like, oh, throw it away, throw it here, throw it there. You know what I'm saying? And we don't see the value in those things. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you really have to cherish the moments that you're in. And like I read the scripture earlier, life is but a vapor. There's so many people, young, old. We have family members that we lost at a young age, that have kids now, that are older. And I'm pretty sure that, a lot of people are suffering from these types of things. But the reality is you have to take value in everything, the people around you, the material things, they pass away, the houses, the cars, they're nice. Enjoy, fix it up to your liking to make a house a home. But at the same time, don't place your value in those things, because a fire could set off, it could go away. You could lose a job, you could file bankruptcy. Hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody. The house could go in foreclosure, the cars can be repossessed, anything can happen. But if that's all your value is in things, then you're pretty much going to be lost, and you won't see the value in people, and you damage relationships and go through life just like ungrateful,
I think that you guys made some great points, and on this journey of my life that is forever changing. Every day it's changing, and a lot of times it's changing because of the choices that you make. Some are bad choices, some are good choices. But if anyone has a question as far as what is my purpose, what is my goal in this life, and I would say, and now I'm saying this, and it's easier said than done, but your life should be about changing lives. I also think that life should be about impacting lives, impacting those lives around you, living your best life so that those that are coming behind you, those that are paying attention to you, can have somewhat of a blueprint. Now, like Jackie said, everyone's life is different. Everyone's journey is different. But we grew up hearing, making this comment being made about life is a choice. I heard something a long time ago, and the person said, life is not just about a choice. Life is multiple choice. Every day that you wake up, your life is a multiple choice. Am I going to be a good husband today? Am I going to be a good wife? Am I going to be a good father? Am I going to go to work today? Am I going to do some of the basic things that help sustain this life? So life is about multiple choice. And I think is that when you look into that and look at that from that perspective, it can help you on this journey. Because sometimes we've made bad choices that have affected our journey. And I think that if you sit back and you use wisdom and precaution and make those multiple choices that will benefit you later on down the line, I think that you come up with a decent recipe as far as your life is concerned and its value. And I think that even in this time with this pandemic that we have going on, I believe that people have lost the value and the meaning of life because now they've realized that I've now tied and tangled up my life into monetary things. I've tied and tangled my life up into monetary things. I mean, not monetary thing, but material things. And now it's now putting everything in the forefront, is now highlighted. Now I need to kind of regroup because now as I look at it now, my life is really not about that. The fact of the matter, and I give you a great example that just for me, like for instance, our son is coming home from the Navy after being here 5 years. Okay. Now for the first time, all of our kids will be at home. That's more important to me than anything. Knowing that all of our kids are here in the same state, they're within reach. It allows me to kind of exhale. You understand what I'm saying? Because now I'm looking at it and I feel proud. I feel happy, and there's a serenity and a peace that comes over it. And now I'm not even looking at the other things. So now I've placed more value into family than I've done anything else. To know that the next coming holidays, all of us will be together. That's important to me. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, I value my job. I value my work. I value the things that we do or whatever like that. But those little things like family, seeing our kids together, seeing our grandkids together, those things are more important to me. And I've allowed this time, this hiatus that we've had during this pandemic, to sit back and focus on other things. And this brought everything into the forefront. So, Jackie, I'm going to ask you this question. Especially during this time in this pandemic, and I made the statement that people have lost the value of life or the meaning of life, meaning in my perspective that they may have lost track. What would you say to someone to help get them back on track or back on track towards this journey?
Wow, I would say it's all about your attitude. You know, our attitude determines, how we look at life in general. And I believe, one of the things that I've learned is that, we can't control the things that happen in our life, but we can change our attitude and respond differently to, based off of what those things are. So I think having the proper attitude, as you go through life and as you deal with the different things, that's in your life, that can ultimately change how you move forward, and a lot of times we just have to, like, Ken said earlier, we have to live life day by day. We have to take it as if there is no tomorrow. So it's so important to, grab a hold of the things that's so important to you today and to continue to embrace those things and not get so caught up into, what's happening next or how can I impact this or how can I change that? But just focus on those moments, being still in the moment. I heard you say that, your family is going to be all in one state and you put a value on family. And I think that that's so important, that, you know, you have something that you focus on. You have something that's worth you waking up in the morning for you to continue to move forward. So again, I just think, you know, our attitudes shape who we are in general. Our attitudes is what causes us to change our thinking, you know, depending on what we may go through. You know, am I going to choose to waddle in distress every single day because, you know, I may have lost a loved one? And I'm not saying that grieving is not important, but it's your attitude towards whatever that issue is that causes you to either push forward or to stand still. You know, and for me, you know, I place a high value, you know, too, with my family as well. You know, I have millennials, you know, I have children that are millennials right now, and they and has so many questions, you know, going on. My daughter right now, she just turned 22, you know, and she's now finding herself. She's starting to really try to, you know, get her purpose and understand her whole meaning of life. And this pandemic has strongly affected her. You know, she's looking at this pandemic and seeing like, wow, so maybe the things that I used to do is not as important to me anymore, because she's realizing that life can be taken away from you. Like Ken said, in a second to a moment, it can all be taken away from you. So I just think that it's important for us to focus on the things that really matter. And like you said, you know, how can I change the life of somebody else? What is it about my life and the things that God has allowed me to go through where I can really change the environment that's around me? And I'm not talking by the masses, because if you just change the life of one person, you have already made a difference. So I would just say, you know, don't take life for granted, and to continue to pursue the things that you're passionate about, the things that's placed on the inside of you, to be able to make a difference in the lives that's around you, whether it's family, friends, neighbors, or, you know, whoever. Just try to make a difference to bring meaning to somebody else's life through your life experiences.
Well, you said it all. You know, we can end the show like Reggie always said. We can end the show right there. But on the note, I would agree with everything that you pretty much said, Jackie. The only other thing I would say is, of course, it's attitude, but I would also say that it's perspective. People see value in getting all the attention and being in the limelight, and I personally say, don't live for the light, live for the legacy. And what I mean by that is, don't live just to be in the light to be seen, but live for the legacy of how you impact people, because I think that's more of a priority than everything. At this point in time, with the situation with the pandemic, don't live in fear. Don't let COVID, you know, although it wrecked a lot of people's lives and caused the world to go in chaos, don't let that be the thing that governs your mind, governs your actions, or, you know, govern how you do things. Let that be a motivator to get you to start businesses or start your dream, start your vision. Because if you wouldn't have been put in this position, you wouldn't have to go after those things. So it's just kind of a reminder for you to really find the value in the things that matter more so than others. And the last thing that I'm going to say is that take this time with your family and really, really treasure the people that you have around you, the personalities, the love, whatever you have around your family. Spend the quality time, remind them of how much they mean to you, remind them of how much you care about them. And, you know, that's basically it. So what about you, Reggie?
Well, I think that you and Jackie took some pieces that I was going to say. So I know we're getting ready to wrap it up, but I'm going to take a piece from what Jackie said and also for what you said, Kenneth. And I love that part about live life like there's no tomorrow. Make today count. Make every second, every moment count in your life, because tomorrow's not promised. You know, we can all have this conversation on today, and then in 5 minutes, that can be it. But you want to make sure that if it is, you want to make sure that you've lived that day, you live that moment to the best of your abilities. I would also say take advantage of the precious moments. And a good example is that just on the last couple of days, it's been beautiful here in California. The weather has been great and everything. And I've taken shortcuts home because the scenic part of it, and just rolling the window down, just breathe. And I'm like, today was a good day. So, but when I say that, I also say, learn to exhale. learn to exhale, learn to breathe. But as you breathe, learn to take it all in at the same time. Love, travel, live this life to the best of your ability. And then to also piggyback off of what Kenneth said, I told somebody this a couple of years ago, just sitting down having a conversation with some of my friends or whatever. And for some reason, they like to talk about the past or what everybody else did or whatever. I said, but when you die, what are they going to say about your life? What legacy did you leave? What will they say on your tombstone? That's more important than anything else, because a lot of people get to funerals and everything and don't really have much to say. But you want to make sure that your life, no matter what pandemic we're in, no matter what it encompasses or whatever like that, you want to make sure that they saw you living the best life possible. And also that you not just leave a dynasty, but you also leave a legacy of a blueprint to follow. So the question is that when you die, if I die tomorrow, I want to make sure that they know that I lived my best life. You want to make sure that they know that you lived every day like it was your last. So what would they say about your legacy? What will they say about you? And that's all I have to say. But I think that life is precious. And just over the last couple of weeks, I've lost some people and everything. And life really makes more sense when it starts to get close to home. But don't wait for it to get close to home for you to start recognizing and understanding the value and the purpose of life. And like we said in the beginning, every day that we wake up, we should understand and recognize the value and the purpose of our life and be blessed and thankful that we've allowed to see another day. But I believe that that day was created for you to leave an impact and to make change in the life of others.
That's good. That's good.
That's good.
Hey, I don't have nothing to say, man. I think this was a really good topic and much needed. Just a reminder of how we need to put things back into perspective and really, really place our value on the right things. If you want to connect with us, you can reach us at whenwetalk.net. The email there is info@whenwetalk.net. You can connect with the host. Check out the website. You can listen to podcasts there. You can also find us anywhere podcasts are. But connect with us. That's basically it. Do any of you have anything else you want to say?
Nope, I don't have anything.
And just my last thing is that for everyone, just know that you're valuable and know that you bring meaning to other people's lives. And I think that if you can put that into perspective about how valuable you are to others that are around you, to your loved ones, you'll be able to navigate and see life in a different perspective.
Awesome. I definitely agree.
Yep.
Well, until next time, keep your head up.
Keep God first.
And keep it moving.